Joe, if you're listening, you stupid fuck. He looks like one of those guys that from Long Island that wants to be a white rapper, but he's 30-something years old, lives in his parents' basement with the droopy cap and the whatever, but he thinks he's Howard Stern, and he's got a cool way of talking in the microphone, and he's a shock jock or whatever, and somehow or another he accumulates followers on Twitter. It's fucking pathetic. So please, nobody listen to anything involving a guy named Joe Cronin, because it's just so fucking sad.
About Joe Cronin, like I could care less. I'm not really a fan of Joe Cronin, but definitely not a fan.
He thinks he's Howard Stern, and he's got a cool way of talking in the microphone, and he's a very shock jock or whatever. I have to explain, he looks like one of those guys that from Long Island that wants to be a white rapper.
That guy is retarded, and yeah, I could care less about him, dude.
This is the Epic Voice Guy. You're listening to The Joe Cronin Show.
Hey.
When you play your little fuck game. When you play your little fuck game.
Biggest, most jacked guy, and please let me come.
They certainly laugh at your misfortunes, fuckers.
You fucking stupid fucker!
you gotta send me that.
What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? I'm still sick, so a little bit, a little disclosure here. I'm still a bit sick. I'm not feeling great. I'm feeling better than the other day. I don't know how much I have in me, but I do feel a little bit better, but I am still sick. I'm still jacked up, just like Jericho's jacked up, talking smack about Cody Rhodes now that he's gone. I'm going to tell you why I partially agree with Jericho and why I partially disagree with Jericho. This is one of those things where I'm kind of borderline on, with Jericho saying that. There's a lot of other stuff to talk about too, I guess. It's all minorly petty wrestling stuff because it's just like there's weird news out there. Cody Rhodes recently, there's another article, there's another news story out there now too that Cody Rhodes is talking about how others are taking credit for his work. So it's like everybody's trying to, get their credit and put themselves over because all anybody else apparently will do is just bash the hell out of you and they won't, give you any credit for the most part. So you got Cody saying that everybody's trying to take credit for his work. You got Jericho saying, hey, without it, me, AEW would have been turd, I guess. So even though I'm sick, I'm going on. We're doing it as best I can. We'll see what happens. Shout out to all the patrons. Man, do we need some more of you guys, and we need some more producers. So patreon.com/Joe Cronin Show. Think about becoming a $25 producer like these guys. We'll get you the shout-outs on the show. Let's listen to what Jericho said on this god-awful podcast that is the AEW Unrestricted podcast, hosted by Pinocchio the Old Man, and, of course, the special guest, Chris Jericho. That's right. You have Pinocchio on the left, the old man on the right, or sometimes I call him Earring. I call him Earring sometimes, too. So Pinocchio and Earring are sitting here with Jericho, who also looks like Vigo the Carpathian, which is fine. And let's just pull this and hear how this goes here.
I say that because I think at the time I was the only.
Oh, here it is.
So it was a very fateful night in so many different ways, but I think that I'm just trying to pick the right words here. the company wasn't built around me, but and at the risk of sounding egotistical, if there was no Chris Jericho, I don't know if the company would have gotten off the ground as quickly as they did.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. Yeah,
it did. And because I say that because I think at the time,
God, Aubrey is so annoying. I mean, like, bro, I am so sorry. Again, she seems like maybe a nice person. I don't know, except for she's the one that like attacked everybody's channels when they covered AEW. Allegedly, I don't know. That's alleged. Everybody says she is the one that was taking people's stuff down with content claims and stuff like that. Man, is she annoying. She's just, and I don't blame her somewhat. Maybe I'd be dick riding too, or trying to like reassure Jericho because he's like saying this. She's like, yeah, that sounds right. That sounds right. I mean, like Jericho could say, you know what, I think we should kill babies. And Aubrey would be like, I get that. That makes sense to me. It wouldn't matter what he says.
Built around me, but and at the risk of sounding egotistical, if there was no Chris Jericho, I don't know if the company would have gotten off the ground as quickly as they did.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, they only created the company because of the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and everybody. I guess without Jericho, there would have been no company, right? See, the thing here is the truth is that everything is correct. Jericho was the perfect piece to help launch a TV show. But the guys that were starting the company were already there. You know what I mean? Like, they could have launched the company without Jericho. It probably wouldn't have done as well because no wrestling is that great right now. Jericho being in AEW, only it gives them, I don't know, what, 200,000 people maybe? Think about it. What's it worth? Now, the name Jericho helps. I would argue that Chris Jericho is slowly helped over time. Like, I would say that maybe like 100,000 WWE fans who found out Jericho was over there went to check it out because of Jericho. But I would say that another 100,000 to or so fans checked it out over the course of 2 years because maybe they were flipping the channel and they seen Chris Jericho. Wait, what's this? This isn't WWE. What is this? That sort of thing. Or I heard Jericho isn't. Over time he helped. He helped the networks feel better that this known star was there and stuff like that. So he definitely helped. But see, I wouldn't word it like, I don't know if we would have gotten off the ground without me. You know what I mean? I don't think that that's true. I think they would have gotten off the ground, but it would have been a tougher feat. And the AEW championship would not have been as prestigious feeling. I think the biggest contribution Chris gave to the company was legitimizing the AEW title, making sure that world title was really worth something because a legitimate world champion, world professional legend, Hall of Fame, will be in the Hall of Fame, like special talent who was in wrestling when wrestling was at its highest heights and was champion when wrestling was at its highest heights. Just every accolade you could throw at Chris Jericho. There's no doubt about that he helped. Like, he certainly helped. Like, very much. But, Cody and Kenny and all these people, like, they were creating something regardless. He solidified it. I think he did solidify Chris Jericho. And they needed a name like this. They couldn't get The Rock. He's a Hollywood star. They couldn't get Stone Cold because he's not going to wrestle, and if he was, he'd do it in WWE, and that's it. Can't get The Undertaker. He's locked up. Shawn Michaels, a WWE guy. The list of the short list of legends is there. Randy Orton is not going to sign, not going to leave WWE. But Chris Jericho, he's a guy who still has ambition to do something special and likes to change things up, and he is one of those guys. I don't know what people think about Randy Orton. I think Chris Jericho is better than Orton. That's me. I don't know if other people believe differently. Chris Jericho was phenomenal in the 90s, and certainly in the last couple of years of the 90s. He was a fairly good mid-card star on WCW that people wanted to see pushed. He didn't get that push. Then he goes to WWE and he becomes a main star there. He becomes the top mid-card star, like in the company. Like that. Like, I'm talking about the Shawn Michaels spot from WrestleMania 10. He gets put in that spot with stars and is a top tier mid-card star. Like, the top of the mid-card is Jericho. You know what I mean? And then Jericho, eventually moves up even higher into the main card status. I mean, if he wasn't from the beginning. So, this guy, and then for years, has just become a master, a main card guy, a top-tier competitor, a legend. The legend of Jericho continues to grow. The guy can do nothing. It's amazing what he can do. Anyway, that being said, I think the alert's gone out to everybody that we're live right now. Hopefully, everybody's got it. It's lunchtime for a lot of people. I'm gonna talk more about everything in a second. If you guys want to support the channel, what's up, chat? How you doing, John? Make no mistake about it. Now is the time to support the channel. I have been scaling back. Some people have noticed I've been scaling back my live streams. We basically haven't hit enough to where I've had to work more recently. And coming up, it looks like I'm going to have to work a whole lot more. So I'm going to be here a whole lot less. So if you guys love these streams and you want things to continue, it's up to you guys, really, as far as this channel goes and everything goes. I have a lot to do. I'm going to try to upload a couple of videos for the daytime or work on a new format to where I can get some videos out there to try to create more subs and more buzz and things like that. But, as things kind of get worse, I have to do what I have to do. And it's not fun. And I'm sick right now, so that doesn't help me. But if you want to support the stream, the link is in the chat above. Donation link is in the chat above or super chat down below. And again, my streams in the day usually determine if I do another one the next day or whatever, or my schedule the following week. So just, if you guys want, do it now. Drop some kind of comments. Let me know what you think. We will have a top person crowned here tonight, potentially today, and make them the JCS Digital Champion for the current stream. And we're driving down the road drunk in this image, it looks like. What's up? Cody Rhodes could be in trouble. Looks like Triple H doesn't favor him the same way that Vince did, or this is a leak that they leaked out to try to make us all think this, because they figured, well, everybody believes Cody's coming back and he's going to win and he's going to go to WrestleMania. So, with the change of Vince McMahon and Triple H, some people wonder if plans are going to change a little bit. So, therefore, a lot of people are coming out with news from a source or whatever, and there's no real source. It's either people just making things up, or it's purposely leaked out fake news, I believe, or it's really real news, but I don't know if I buy it. But allegedly, they're saying, Cody Rhodes is not in favor of Triple H, which you could imagine from his throning that happened in AEW. I don't believe this news. I just don't believe it. I think Triple H understands what Cody has been and is. I know that Triple H doesn't like Punk, though. And Punk is a guy who could be a top guy, but Triple H didn't like how full of himself Punk was and how, against the system he was, I guess, which is funny for Triple H, but that's what happened. But does he like Cody? I would think he respects Dusty Rhodes. I would think Triple H has this amazing respect for Dusty, and certainly for his son. And, I'm sure Cody has a good way of talking to Triple H as opposed to CM Punk. Cody Rhodes is probably more of a politician than CM Punk was. So I think that, this is going to not be true. I think that this is something that they put out there on purpose. Because, I don't know, they just want to try to create the idea that maybe this isn't going to work out for Cody so that there's more speculation on it. That's what I'm betting. I have no idea on any of this. And I'm looking at the poll right now at 97 votes in the middle of the day. about what Jericho said here, and we haven't even played it enough. So let's go back and play it a little bit more because we really haven't heard it all.
That's the way to put it.
Yes,
Yeah,
it did. And because I say that because I think at the time I was the only national kind of superstar name that was involved. I mean, besides Jim Ross, but Jim Ross isn't on-air talent. He's a commentator. But keep in mind, no one really knew Cody at that point. He'd been gone for years, and the last time we seen him, he was Stardust. I'm going to pull back so I can see you guys' faces. He was Stardust when he left. And as much buzz as Kenny and Matt and Nick Jackson had, they were still mostly just kind of regional guys. You know, they were worldwide stars, but when it comes to national TV in the States, they didn't have any experience for that.
Nope.
So there really wasn't anybody else, and I think if Chris Jericho wasn't involved, it would have been a lot harder of a sell to TBS or TNT or those types of people that were involved because you needed that big TV to get off the ground. You needed money, which we had, passion, which we had, television, which is very hard to get, and a roster of stars that no one had really seen before.
I mean, it's like I agree with him a lot as far as the TV goes. I think what it is I agree with him on the the television and getting off the television and getting that belief and that backing by the TV deal and whatever else. I just don't believe that nobody knew who Cody was, though. Now, maybe the TV executives, for some reason, don't know who he is. You know, but he would have been somebody I would have pitched as well. I would have said, hey, man, Cody Rhodes, he was on WWE in front of 5 million people for years as the AEW champion. He was a mid-card, he was kind of a mid-card feature on the show. His father is the legendary Dusty Rhodes. He was seen by WWE 5 million people, 4 million people yearly. You know, I'm Chris Jericho. We know who I am. You know, that sort of thing. And then everybody else, you know, we're going to build up our own stars like the WWE used to do and like WCW. So right there, you know, I think that line of nobody knew really who Cody Rhodes was, I don't buy that at all. That's bullshit. My wife's sister loved Cody Rhodes. She had like a crush thing on him. And it's like she was in the WWE at the time, but she was still a casual viewer. My sister-in-law was a casual viewer. She was, I forget how old she was at the time, 18 or 17 or 16, I forget. She loved Cody Rhodes. And a lot of people did. There was like fandom things. He had 5 million people watching him. So if my sister-in-law, who didn't really watch wrestling a lot, she knew who Cody Rhodes was. Everybody here knows who Cody Rhodes is. Right? I mean, dude, like millions of people knew who he was. Now, we're not arguing about whether he was really a megastar because he really wasn't. He was a middle mid-card guy who was used like shit in WWE. He had one or two little memorable things that he did, sort of, but I thought his entrance music was cringe. I thought his presentation was like subpar. And then he became Stardust, and that was also sort of well done, yet subpar. You know, it felt like a worse version of Goldust, is what it always felt like. A worse version of Goldust. So, but he was viewed by millions of people, so people knew who he was. You know, and so I just don't agree with people did not know who he was. And then about 150 or 200,000 people followed Cody Rhodes to TNA Impact Wrestling. So about a couple 100,000 people followed him to Impact Wrestling. And then every time Cody Rhodes had an indie appearance, the guy wrestled, you know, he drew a crowd of at least a couple hundred people, you know, at indie shows. Indie shows where there would be normally 100 to 200 people, they would have 300 or 400 people. Cody Rhodes would draw a couple hundred people at every indie show he went to. So the thing is, you know, nobody knew who Cody Rhodes was. I don't agree with. That's ridiculous. You can go watch my channel. I was into Cody Rhodes in TNA Impact. I loved Cody Rhodes in Impact. I loved Cody Rhodes on the Indies. And I certainly loved Cody Rhodes when they did All In. When they did All In, by that time, we'd already been loving him. Everybody was memeing on Rhodes. Oh, remember the come on down, Cody, like come to AEW, come to AEW. Do you guys remember that? Like, dude, there was like a meme on Twitter that had like millions of fucking shares. You know what I mean? Like, everybody was talking about Cody Rhodes and go to the Elite and AEW. It was like a big thing. You know what I mean? WWE Raw was drawing 1.8 million people, 1.9 million people. Around the same time AEW drew 1.1 million. It's like it's not that much off, you know, for the most part. WWE's still the king, but nobody knew who Cody Rhodes was? I don't believe that at all. Was Jericho the key to launching on television and the bigger name? Of course. But nobody knew who Cody was? I don't believe that. I think that's just I think if we, you know, I think Jericho would back that up a little bit. But I know what he's trying to say because the other part makes perfect sense.
Built around me, but at the risk of sounding egotistical, if there was no Chris Jericho, I don't know if the company would have gotten off the ground as quickly as they did.
Yeah, that's the way to put it. Yeah,
it did, and because
he's probably right. I agree with that.
I say that because I think at the time I was the only national kind of superstar name that was involved. I mean, besides Jim Ross, but Jim Ross isn't on-air talent.
Chris Jericho, I mean, Cody Rhodes had come from WWE, but I think Jericho is basically saying, well, you know, Cody's been off TV for 4 years, and the last time he was on TV was Stardust. I guess that's where he's going with it. So maybe, I mean, I think if he said, like, well, the TV executives don't know who Cody is, and, you know, the fans do, but he hasn't been on TV in 4 years, like, I mean, I'm nitpicking, trying to make this more how I'd want it said. Because I've seen people enraged. Some people are furious at Jericho. Other people are happy with... By the way, I love Chris Jericho. Jericho is, I believe, dead on right almost every 99.9% of the time. I 100% agree with Jericho almost every time. I'm just tweaking this a little bit. I think it's a little bit whatever on this. I think some people are losing their minds on Jericho. They're pissed off at Jericho. Some people are pissed off at, you know, or some people love it. They agree with Jericho. They think Cody's a loser. I mean, that's just crazy to think Jericho. I mean, dude, Cody helped launch a company, you know, created his own indie thing that he did, and helped launch a company. I almost, you know, for a while I thought Cody Rhodes was one of the guys that was helping the other guys launch, and then Jericho came along and it was like, oh, a bigger name. This is crazy. Jericho's on board. But I just can't, I'm just shocked. But I mean, I don't think Jericho's really that wrong. I think he's right. It's just that little tweaking of what he said about Cody there that I think is, you know, could be criticized a little bit. But otherwise, I think Jericho's dead on. I think he's pretty much right. He's trying to be humble about it, you know.
He's a commentator. But keep in mind, no one really knew Cody at that point. He'd been gone for years. And the last time we seen him, he was Stardust. I'm going to pull back so I can see you guys' faces. He was Stardust when he left. And as much buzz as Kenny and Matt and Nick Jackson had, they were still mostly just kind of regional guys.
So, you know, I'm trying to figure it out here. Like, what was the first All-In? The first All-In was September 2018. The first All-In is the biggest independent wrestling show ever. Let me see here. So the first All-In is the biggest show ever in independent wrestling. Right? All in 2018. The biggest show ever. I don't remember. I'm trying to remember. Is Jericho on that card? Is Chris Jericho on that card? Is Chris Jericho on that card? Because I don't believe he was. Jericho was not at the first All In, right? He was at the next thing they did, I think, but that was it. You had Madison Rayne, Chelsea Green, Britt Baker, Tessa Blanchard, rather. The Briscoes versus SoCal Uncensored. Stephen Amell versus Christopher Daniels. I remember that. Chicago Street Fight, Joey Janela versus Hangman Page. Kushida Okada versus Marty Scurll. Jay Lethal, over the budget Battle Royal winner. Ring of Honor. NWA's world champion was Nick Aldis versus Cody Rhodes. I remember that like crazy. That was the night Cody won the NWA title, I believe. Kenny Omega versus Pentagon Jr. The Young Bucks, Kota Ibushi versus Rey Mysterio. I remember Phoenix and Bandito. I remember that match was like rushed, I believe. Didn't they run out of time? And the Young Bucks, Kota Ibushi, Rey Mysterio Jr., and Phoenix and Bandito. Didn't they run out of time or something, if I remember? That they had to like rush through that, if I recall. Anyway, yeah. Wasn't that the rushed match? That being said, they did 50,000 buys. 50,000 buys. Right? Let me see. They did 50,000 buys, and that was with Cody, that was with Young Bucks, that was with all those guys, right? They did 50,000 buys by themselves. They sold 10,000 tickets, 50,000 buys, independent show, biggest independent wrestling event ever, I believe, or that we know of here. Now the recent AEW All Out did about 140,000 buys. So now that they've been on television for 2 years, right? Television for 2 years or so, 19, 20, 3 years. Man, time is flying by, bro. Now they've been on television for 3 years. They're at 140,000 buys for pay-per-view. So, if you look at their following pay-per-view, too, it did about 62,000, I think. So, you know, it's hard to really try to figure out how much impact Jericho has, but it really comes down to would they have had a TV deal without Jericho? I don't know. But what the TV deal with Jericho allowed him to do is get in front of all those people. And I believe, that they would have probably sold, and right, even right now they sell out venues about 3,500 to 6,000. Usually the number's around 5,000 or 6,000. AEW is good to fill 6,000 people every arena. So if they're in an arena that does 7,000 or 8,000, they look pretty good. If they're in an arena with 10,000, they look all right. But when they get into the arenas that carry 15,000 or so, that's where they look a little poor sometimes, depending on the card.
Shit bum.
Random, Eddie Kingston loves his mother.
I love my mother. My mother. You love my mother? I love my mother. Yo, Smoothface dropping a $2 donation. How you doing, Smoothface? Well, that will help a little bit. That's a little bit towards the coffee fund. But I got to be honest, man. If you're in tonight, get wet. Feel free to drop a dono if you guys want. The link is in the chat above, or you guys can use Super Chat if you really want to do that. Donations are on. I cheers you for that. Let's see what we need to get to. We need to get to $500. Oh, need to get to $500 by tonight. I don't know if we can do it between now and AEW tonight. Can we hit $500? I don't know, but it's not looking good. I'll tell you that. But that's okay. It is what it is, and I may not be on Thursday or Friday, but shout out to you guys in the chat. Hit the like button if you can. You can at least do that. Hit the sub button. Hit the like button. I hope your days are going well. If you're at work, if you're at lunch right now, that's awesome. If you're at a break period like me, or switching jobs in the middle of the day like me, hey man, I might be one of the only people that switches from one job to another job, all within 2 hours. It's kind of amazing, or 3 hours, I guess it would be today. I think that's actually pretty fucking crazy. Like, I don't think does anybody do that? I don't know. There's got to be some hustlers out there that do that. It's just weird that's weird. It sounds crazy or hard, but it's not really, because it's just like 4 hours here, 2 hours here, 4 hours here, come home, 3 hours, 4 hours there. It's not, it sounds crazy, but it's not. It's just sort of like, like transitioning in a job to job, Morning job, come on YouTube job. Evening job, come home, do YouTube night job. That's 4. That's like 4 transitions in it. Almost, it's crazy, right? Like I mean, it's just fun to think about. Jericho does that. I think Jericho does that. Jericho will like wake up in the morning and Jericho will like write something out. Jericho will record maybe a video or a podcast. Jericho will fly somewhere to do something. Jericho will then fly somewhere else to be on AEW. Jericho will then go fly to band practice as they record a song or something. Jericho will then do press somewhere. Jericho will then do someone else's podcast. Jericho will then start working on an audiobook at home that he's narrating or something. Jericho will then, maybe there's a movie thing or there's an interview or something. Jericho will then go wrestle and work on a match. Then Jericho, it's like, dude, that guy is fucking crazy. Like, Chris Jericho, he's got more stamina than me, okay? Like, I'm out of breath if I have to drive an hour somewhere. I start shutting down. I'm like, fuck me, bro. So you got to give it to Chris Jericho. And I'm somebody who lives in the past a lot. You cannot live in the past to be successful. You really got to live in the future. I get frustrated by people who live in the future because they never know about the past, and I'm always like, fuck, I know that. Like your favorite actors. You guys ever come across actors that you know and you love their show or something, and they talk about their show, but they don't even know their show? They don't even remember like it at all because they don't really watch it. They don't care, but they were in it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's sort of what I mean. Like those guys are winning because they're thinking about the next acting job and get me to the next thing, and I'm an actor and get me to the next thing, and I just got the next thing. Oh yeah, I did that. It was fun. It was great. Yeah, I don't remember all the details. You love it. I don't care. That's what you got to do, man. You got to get rolling. You got to get rolling. Javon Rhodes says the Philly Gritty dono. Yeah, it's $8. You can donate that. It's $8. Gritty is back. There's a whole bunch of donations that are back. There's the $8 Gritty. There's the $9.99 Scissor Me Daddy. Scissor Me Daddy ass is $9.99. I don't think I've added that to the list. I fucked up there. My bad. $7 Phone Booths dono is back. There's a whole bunch that are back. So for the people that are asking, there they are. I don't have sponsors. I don't really have commercials on my show. The only way to fund the show is through you guys. So I have to mention it. I know it's a little annoying. I apologize to have to sort of mention that all the time and bring up the donation link, but you got to do it, or it just, you know what I mean, you got to remind people that I'm PBS, bro, and without your viewers like you support, I don't know, I can't keep going. So I have to sort of do the e-beg thing at some point during the streams a couple times, because otherwise people don't know that, that's how we run here. And people always ask me, where have you been? And it's because I take extra time at my other jobs. I have to project how much I do on this show versus how much work I take at work. And I project it. I can adjust some of my schedule almost daily. So sometimes I make a decision based on that. So we did really well a couple weeks ago, so I was on a lot. We did really bad the last few days, 6 days. And so I have been sick, too, so that didn't help. But let's hear it again from Jericho. Let's hear a little bit again from Pinocchio and Jericho. Let's see what he's really getting at.
Trying to pick the right words here. The company wasn't built around me, but and at the risk of sounding egotistical, if there was no Chris Jericho, I don't know if the company would have gotten off the ground as quickly as I did.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. Yeah,
it did. And because I say that,
I understand that part. I totally agree with that. I really do. And I'm not one of these people that attacks Jericho. I love Jericho. Jericho donates more to people in need than anybody. All the people that attack Jericho for he's a scumbag, right-wing cocksucker. I hate Jericho. He's a right-wing. He voted for Trump. I hate Jericho. Like, well, guess what? Jericho donates to people who are hurt for no reason other than he's seemingly a good guy. And those people that all complain about him being a bad person, they don't donate to anybody. So when some idiot in his backyard is wrestling in an event for having some fun at some mud show, and he breaks his legs, Chris Jericho donates thousands of dollars to him. Nobody else does that. Chris Jericho does. So I love Chris Jericho. And I don't always agree with everything, but usually I agree with him. And I think he's stretching a little bit here on some of this, but I do agree with him somewhat as well.
Because I think at the time I was the only national kind of superstar name that was involved. I mean, besides Jim Ross, but Jim Ross isn't on-air talent. He's a commentator. But keep in mind, no one really knew Cody at that point. He'd been gone for years. And
no one really knew Cody at that point. Now, if he's saying that the cable guys didn't really know Cody, I guess maybe TBS doesn't really know. But I feel like they do. Hey, TBS, remember Dusty Rhodes on WCW? His son. Dusty Rhodes' son. The guy that's on WWE with 5 million people watching him. Yeah. Nobody knows him. Nobody knows who Cody Rhodes are. The 100,000 people that showed up throughout the U.S. to see Cody in the Indies, nobody knows him. You know, the 200,000 people that tuned into Impact Wrestling when Cody showed up, nobody knows him. You know, nobody knows Cody Rhodes. You know, top-selling merch for a few months is Stardust. Nobody knows him. I pretty much agree with Jericho. I just don't agree with that. Nobody knows Cody Rhodes. Maybe none of the cable people, like the brass. Hey, listen, nobody at TBS knew who Cody really was, aside from the name like his father had and whatever. They weren't really sure. You know, they hadn't really seen him in WWE and they didn't know. You know, but they knew who I was. You know, that would, if he said that, I would have been like, oh yes, okay, yes, you've sold me on this. I get that. But this part is just the part that I don't know. I don't really agree with that.
Trying to pick the right words here. The company wasn't built around me, but and at the risk of sounding egotistical, if there was no Chris Jericho, I don't know if the company would have gotten off the ground as quickly as I did.
Yeah, that's a way to put it. Yeah,
it did. And because I say that because I think at the time I was the only national kind of superstar name that was involved. I mean, besides Jim Ross, but Jim Ross isn't on-air talent. He's a commentator. But keep in mind, no one really knew Cody at that point. He'd been gone for years, and the last time we seen him, he was Stardust. I'm going to pull back so I can see you guys' face.
See, it's like I agree with almost everything. I just have a little bit of an issue with that part. Like, I don't think Cody Rhodes is an amazing superstar that was well-known I don't think that at all. But, I mean, I just think he's a little slighted here. You know, he was a little more known than not known at all. You know, to me, that's crazy. So, and by the way, Cody Rhodes was my favorite thing in AEW. I have not enjoyed AEW at all as much since Cody has left. And that's what the amazing thing is from WWE. What a score, what a grab. You grabbed the guy that, as far as I'm concerned, was my favorite attraction in AEW overall. When it came to entrance, when it came to wrestling matches, Cody Rhodes was my favorite thing in AEW. I mean, as far as interest level, Wardlow is being dead. They're killing Wardlow. Like, Wardlow's about to be dead. MJF is the hottest promo and the hottest thing going now. But you know, Cody's had better matches than MJF. And MJF is now starting to drop a little bit too because of how they've booked him. So as far as I'm concerned, man, they're a mess right now. And WWE grabbed one of the only guys that the casual fans and that the classic fans, like I'll consider myself that way because I liked Cody Rhodes wrestling. And he had great matches. Cody Rhodes had that great match with his brother right before AEW launched. Just about every Cody match felt important to me in a classic style. There was a couple of them that were just kind of boring and they didn't really do anything, but most of them meant something to me or seemingly meant something overall. You just, like, all the time. The Young Bucks have had a couple, like, probably three or so matches that have been just insane. I think their match was I want to say one of their best matches was the one against the Ray Phoenix and Pentagon in that cage where they were just nuts. I feel like that was one of the best matches. MJF has had one of the best promos, and CM Punk has had the best press conference. I mean, what did CM Punk? What's the best thing CM Punk did in AEW? I think he's had the best press conference. That's what I think. I think Cody had the best entrance. CM Punk's had the best press conference. MJF has had the best promo. I mean, what else? I think Jericho had the best title run. I think Kenny Omega's heel run was kind of fun, too. I kind of like that.
You raised a piece of shit!
Donations.
Have you ever ate Leah's asshole? Mom, guy, lick my wife's asshole every night. I get my tongue deep in her ass and bite her hairs. It makes me so horny. You can lick the brown stains around the rectum. It's so tasty. Just try it. Get your tongue in her ass.
Ooh. Irene, that's fucking crazy. I'm not putting my tongue in someone's ass. Just not doing it. You know? I would have to be some kind of inebriated. Now I'll put a dick in an ass. Any hole will do. But I ain't putting a tongue in an ass. Just seems like I'll get an infection. I will get a mouth infection. Like 100% I'm getting a mouth infection if I do that. Some kind of mouth infection. I guarantee it. You know, like something happens to my mouth where my mouth is melting off my body. You bought a shirt for me? Dan, you're a fucking co-host and you bought a shirt? That's sick. There's the link for the donations if you guys want to support. That money right there will go directly to me at that link. If you use that link, the money will go directly to me. If you want to help fund me, you guys want to help me out, that's how to do it. So there you go.
They certainly laugh at your misfortunes, fuckers.
Well, they laugh at your misfortunes, fuckers. If you want to use that donate link, go ahead and donate to the stream. We only have to hit $500 by tonight. We're at 12 right now. We'll see what happens.
Shit bum.
Whoa.
Jericho was at the first All Out, but it was a surprise. He dressed Penta and attacked Kenny after the match.
Oh, yes. Yes, you're right. It wasn't booked, though. You're right. And it was a surprise, no doubt about it. The Bear. Oh, my God. The Bear. Holy shit. The Bear 1322. Holy hell, man. What's up, Bear? The Bear 1322 dropping $5 and becoming a $5 ship bum. Wow, man. A long, long time OG, the Bear. That's unbelievable. He had a record as a producer for years. And there's the current ones. Thank you, the Bear. Oh, my God, man. I can't believe Bear is still around. Holy shit, that kind of popped me. You become what am I trying to say? You become sort of accustomed to names, or, I recognize people as much as they might recognize me. You know what I mean? And that kind of shit pops me, man. That's crazy. What's up, Bear? That's wild. Let's hear it again. Let's clarity again.
Built around me, but at the risk of sounding egotistical, if there was no Chris Jericho, I don't know if the company would have gotten off the ground as quickly as I did.
Yeah. That's the way to put it. Yeah,
it did. And because I say that because I think at the time I was the only national kind of superstar name that was involved. I mean, besides Jim Ross, but Jim Ross isn't on-air talent. He's a commentator. But keep in mind, no one really knew Cody at that point. He'd been gone for years, and the last time we seen him, he was Stardust. I'm going to pull back so I can see you guys' faces. He was Stardust when he left. And as much buzz as Kenny and Matt and Nick Jackson had, they were still mostly just kind of regional guys. You know, they were worldwide stars, but when it comes to national TV in the States, they didn't have any experience for that.
Nope.
So there really wasn't anybody else, and I think if Chris Jericho wasn't involved, it would have been a lot harder of a sell to TBS or TNT or those types of people that were involved, because you needed that big TV to get off the ground.
I mean, I think he's 90% right. I think he's like dead on 90% right. I just don't agree with nobody knows who Cody is. That's the part that I'm hung up on. There's no way that nobody knows who Cody is. That part pisses me off. But everything else, Jericho's right. And he might be right if he's talking about the network executives not knowing who Cody is. I get that. If he was like, yo, Cody Rhodes is here, and they're like, what? We don't, who cares?
There's something going
on
up in space.
Oh, shit.
Going on up in this place. There's something weird kinda happening, strange kinda happening, things are kinda happening. What the fuck is happening? Aliens, extraterrestrials, they gave me a shot.
Whoa!
Here I am. I'm gonna kill you.
Here I am.
You're not you.
The ghost from the coast.
I'm fucking crazy, split personalities.
Cody got too big in his own head. He wanted to be Cena in it, but the crowd didn't want it. That's why he left.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Ghost from the Coast, it did feel a little bit like that. It felt a little bit like that we had heard that Cody did not want to go heel. Cody Rhodes did not want to go heel. And you saw it. The crowd was turning on him. And it's too bad because I thought Cody had the possibility to become the top heel in the company. You know, Cody Rhodes was on the precipice of becoming the top heel in the company. Man, the Ghost from the Coast dropping $49.99 super chat party. Thank you, Ghost from the Coast. Thank you very much. Wow, wiping the bear off. Oh, it's a rough week. It's going to be a time. Thank you, Ghost from the Coast. And, you know, you could see that he just wouldn't go heel. He wouldn't do it. And so, yeah, it did feel like a bit that he ran away because of, well, fuck this. I want to be loved, and if they don't love me anymore, I'm going to go be loved in WWE. I can be a face over there. You know? So, I mean, that's what it felt like. Listen, there's a lot to criticize with Cody. I get it. And there's a lot to criticize with Jericho if you want to. I get that. But in the end, I love both of these guys a lot. I really do. And you should too, and there's no way you don't. There's almost no chance. You're not watching AEW if you don't somewhat care about Cody or something. I just find it hard to believe. Unless you only like the Young Bucks or something. I mean, bro, you started watching AEW with the Bucks, Kenny, and Cody, and a few other people. You know, there's no way, you know, I mean, maybe some people don't like them, I get it, but I think they're both great. And I think they both have good points. And if I'll tell you what, if Cody's hot about this, I'd be pissed. You know? You're clearly doing something right, says Cody, for others to try to imitate or even take credit for things you've created. Don't take it personally. Fans remember, and that's all that it's about, Rhodes says. Keep doing the work. As is typical the case when it comes to these cryptic posts, who or what Rhodes is referring to is unclear. So this comes out on a tweet, I'm assuming. It's a day that ends in Y, which means that's by rule at least one professional wrestler must take to social media to deliver cryptic posts, writes Eric Mutter on Wrestling Inc. Today's participant is none other than the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes took to Instagram on Wednesday to post the following statement. So Wednesday is today, and this just came out, and I'm talking about I'm talking about Chris Jericho slighting Cody, and now Cody is going on Instagram and writing this. You're clearly doing something right when others try to imitate or even take credit for things you've created. Don't take it personally, fans remember, and that's what it's all about. Is he talking about Jericho? I mean, maybe. Is he talking about Jericho? Is he wrong? I don't know. People imitate me all the time. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I've literally had every gimmick and everything and everything I've ever thought of ripped off. Do you know what I mean? I get it. I get wanting to tell everybody. You know what I mean? I used to bring a guy called Tommy NC on the show. And everybody all of a sudden wanted to have him on the show. I used to come up with, we're going to ban Tommy for a certain amount of money. Then other people did the same thing. Then I brought a guy named Bullfrog on the show. Then other people did the same thing. Then I banned a guy named Bullfrog. Then other people did the same thing. You know what I mean? I came up with donations for points. Then other people did the same thing. I came up with a title belt for points. Then other people did the same thing. You know, I have certain co-hosts. Then other people get them. You know, I have certain ways of doing things. Other people do them. I do a show on Friday. Then other people do a show. I do another thing. Then other people go do it. You know, I get it. You know, you want to, like, I've said it out loud before too. You know, okay, yeah, it's very cute. You know, the people know. So, you know, that being said, you can sometimes sound like a douchebag if you say that, but like, so I know there's going to be people that crap on Cody because they're going to say, oh, Cody, you just think you created the whole AEW. You know what I mean? Then there's going to be people that say Cody's right. You know, what Jericho said is ridiculous. Cody did help create this whole thing. Why would he not say that? So, I mean, bro, I get what Cody's pissed, I guess, you know, and I sort of, and again, like I said, I think Jericho, I mean, we all make mistakes, or we say things a little bit wrong, and I think that Jericho just sort of said, you know, I think Jericho's one little thing of, you know, Cody, nobody knew who he was. I think that is the issue. That's the problem. You know what I mean? I don't think the other things are a problem. Sunbaked, I'm not even talking about any of those people at all. Those people are all great. I like all those people. Those people were doing it were doing wrestling podcasts before me, or at least Don Tony was. Don Tony was doing podcasting years before I was doing it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about people deliberately taking from you on purpose. That's what Cody is saying. Cody is saying, like, oh yeah, you're going to deliberately say that, you know, you created AEW or whatever. So that's what Cody is talking about. You know what I mean? And I think, you know, I get it. It's got kind of a point. But I also think that Jericho's mostly right with what he said. But, you know, how could you ever downplay what Cody did to create AEW and what the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega did to create AEW? Like, no matter what you think of anybody, you can't downplay that. You can't downplay, like, how big CM Punk was, how good on the mic he is, how great at creating controversy CM Punk is. You can't downplay how great the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega were at creating a wrestling company, and you can't downplay how Cody Rhodes helped them too. Like, you just can't downplay anybody. Nobody really should be slighted. And that's really what it is nobody should be really slighted. It took all these guys to come together to make this thing work as well as it did. It took all of them. And nobody's better than I think than others. I think that it still would have happened without Jericho in some way. And I think it still would have happened if Cody went missing for some reason. And I think it still would have happened if the Young Bucks left at the last second or something. Maybe. But, I mean, there's no doubt that the ball started rolling with the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega and Tony Khan, and then with Cody Rhodes. You know, it's like, and then as they were thinking about going on TV, they bring in Jericho. You know, so listen, it takes a lot of people to make something work great. So anybody that takes sides on this, I think, is crazy. I just don't agree with it. And that's about it. I think I've ranted on it for a while now. I think I've gone over the whole thing. I don't think cover much more of that. But the Ghost from the Coast, $49.99 says Cody got to his head big time. Yeah, I think things do go to Cody's head, and I think he really is like that. But wrestlers are like that. All wrestlers are like that, and entertainers and celebrities. He wants to be the big guy. He wants to be the big name. He thinks he's a big shit, and he is kind of a big shit. And if he didn't think he wasn't a big shit, then he would be like one of these other lower mid-carders. So I want Cody to be selfish. I want Cody to think he's the shit. I want Cody to think he's so great and amazing. Because he kind of is, in a way. And he becomes more of that if he keeps doing that. No, Anna, he did say that, but he also said that nobody knew who Cody was. Listen to this. Did you not hear it?
Did.
That's the way to put it, yeah.
It did. And I say that because I think at the time I was the only national kind of superstar name that was involved. I mean, besides Jim Ross, but Jim Ross isn't on-air talent. He's a commentator. But keep in mind, no one really knew Cody at that point. He'd been gone for years.
So again, nobody really knew who Cody was. I mean, I don't really agree with that. But I do agree with Jericho. He's right. Like, Jericho was the big name to sell the TV deal. Like, hey, man, we got Chris Jericho. Big name. He was on TV when there was 8 million people watching. Cody was on TV when there was 5 or 4 million people watching. But to say no one knew who Cody was is not, I just don't believe that. I don't buy that at all. But as far as the TV deal, yeah, maybe none of the TV people understood who Cody Rhodes was at all, but they got who Jericho was. So again, I agree with Jericho 99% almost, 95% maybe on this one. I just think a little more credit to Cody there. I don't really think you needed to say that. I think if he said everything he said, but he left out that, like Cody, I would have lumped Cody in with the other guys. Cody had some TV time in WWE, so he was there a little bit. So that was good. He had a little buzz going, and Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks had some worldwide buzz going as well. They all kind of had this good little buzz in this niche. But I was really the biggest outside name that they could grab. I would agree with that. I just thought it was a little too much of like nobody knew who Cody was. Fuck that. Yeah, they did. Nobody knew who he was. I agree with that. I just can't give him. I can't crap on him that much. And Jericho said a lot of things, so maybe Jericho would have been like, well, yeah, I mean, I shouldn't have said that, but I don't know. But maybe he's also shitting on him because he's in WWE now, so fuck him. And maybe that's what Jericho thinks. Well, fuck this guy. He quit on us, so fuck him. I'm going to downplay the fuck out of him. So maybe that's what it is. I get that, if that's the case. Fine. And now Cody is out there, saying like, oh, people trying to take credit for my work in AEW. Well, Jericho wouldn't be in AEW if there was no Cody, because they never would have launched in AEW if there was no Cody. So Cody and the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega are the reason why Jericho is in AEW. So that's why it's a little fucked up to hear that. You know what I'm saying? I get it. I'm a big Jericho fan, though, man. Big Jericho mark. Love Jericho. Fucking absolutely. I love defending Jericho when all these dumb idiot fucking SJWs attack Jericho for no real reason. Fucking losers. But this is just, that part just caught me off.
You raised a piece of shit!
Hold on. Okay. Had to fart. How's the COVID, Joe? You must stop getting that shit.
I don't have COVID.
Jericho wipes Cody's ass with neck tattoo.
Oh.
Today's shitty Red Sox fact. Does name Trey Ball ring bell to you? He was 7th pick in 2013 draft.
Trey Ball? No, I don't know who Trey Ball is. Is he dead? I mean, I don't know. Trey Ball. Oh shit! Javon Rhodes! Javon Rhodes! Scissor me! Scissor me, daddy! All I want you to do is scissor me. All I want you to do is scissor me. All I want you to do is scissor me. All I want you to do is scissor me. All I want you to do is scissor me. Javon Rhodes has
scissored me.
Yo, Javon Rhodes, thank you for reaching out and scissoring me, bro. Holy shit, brother. Javon Rhodes coming in clutch with the $9.99. Thank you for dropping the new $9.99 donation, the new Scissor Me donation. Thank you.
Chat party.
Wow.
Nobody likes Ryback, lol.
Nobody likes Ryback. Well, I think he did that to himself. OG Steven. You know, Ryback is another guy that was on WWE television during 4 million viewers. You know? But nobody wants him. Could be because he's a cunt. I mean, it could be that. You know? That could be why.
They certainly laugh at your misfortunes, fuckers.
Well, the ghost from the coast is still taking home that JCS Digital Championship on this afternoon stream on October 5th, 2022. So, you know, it's a little bit of a back and forth here. Anna Hanneman says, I get really defensive about Jericho because he is so committed to building the young talent, and when the shit hits the fan, he's there to help things rolling. Oh, I love Jericho. Anna, you got to understand, I love Jericho. Like, I have fucking loved Jericho. I have eviscerated SJW left-wing trolls who have tried to take Jericho out. They've tried to cancel Jericho. They've tried to attack Jericho. I've been there every second, at least when I was on Twitter. Now I'm not on Twitter anymore. I will protect this guy till the end of time. I love Jericho. I think he's real as fuck. Jericho does so much to try to help younger talent. He brings so much wisdom. The guy's a fucking workaholic. Chris Jericho donates to people in need all the time he doesn't have to donate to. When other people don't, when so-called Democratic left-wing SJWs say they love people and they love everyone and they would do anything and, oh, we're the best people, they won't donate to help people with cancer and other things or to help dumb backyard wrestlers who break their legs like idiots at mud shows, but Jericho will. Chris Jericho will do that. So when they call him some scumbag who voted for Trump and needs to be euthanized or whatever the fuck they say over there, no, I'm always there to protect, or not, he doesn't need protection, but you know what I mean? I'm always there to white knight for Chris Jericho. I love this guy. I've seen what this guy is. Okay, I don't even agree with all the things in politics that he agrees with, but I will defend him to the death because he's real. These other people aren't fucking real. Jericho puts his money where his mouth is, and doesn't mention it. He don't fucking mention it. Worth a shit, does Jericho. Hell, Gable Stevens or whatever his name is, or whatever the guy's name is, not Gable, whatever the fuck. Danny Gable or whatever the fuck on AEW. He fucking donated to that guy's injury, and now he's in AEW. That's how he met Jericho. That's why he's there. They're probably going to incorporate that in the storyline soon. But the fact of the matter is, this guy, aside from that, it's never been mentioned all the people that he donates to, but I know who he donates to because I have seen all the GoFundMes, and it's always Jericho. And that's not the end-all, be-all to anybody, is that they donated to people, but let me tell you something. This guy has taken like $100,000 a year and donated to people. So whatever he makes, if he makes... every year makes $1.5 million or whatever the fuck it is, or whatever, and then you add the other things, he makes $2-3 million a year, Jericho. I don't know. He takes $200,000 of it and fucking donates it to people, or who knows what else he does that I can't see what he does. The guy's a good guy, and he's usually right about everything almost. No, not everybody's right about anything. Nobody is. I'm probably right. I'm probably right 50 or 60% of the time myself. I think I'm probably right 60% of the time, maybe 50. I don't know. Jericho's probably right 90% of the time. Jericho is a better person than me. But in this particular instance, I just don't agree that nobody knows who Cody Rhodes is. I don't agree with that. I think that's a little too far of a slight on Rhodes. But again, maybe it could be him just playing into the wrestling shit because, you know what? Fuck that guy. He quit on our company. He left us. He went to WWE. Hey, I'm not going to give him an ounce of credit. Fuck yeah. I mean, hey, I agree with Jericho then if that's the case. I'm not even that mad about this. I'm not that mad. I'm just saying people are upset. Other people are, you're right, Cody's trash. Jericho's right. Cody's a piece of shit. Well, guess what? Now Cody Rhodes is watched by more people than AEW. But also some people are saying Jericho's an ass or whatever. So I'm just trying to break it down and say that, you know, I think the truth is in the middle. I think there's a gray area here. And like I said, the truth is in the middle. And but mostly Jericho, 100% agree with almost everything he says, just that little part that thinks off. Somebody asked me about Andrade in a fight with Sammy. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I didn't see it. There's a fight with Sammy Guevara and Andrade, or is that what people are talking about? Is there really a fight? I didn't see it. Is there like a Twitter beef that's going on? Let me know. I am unfamiliar with this situation. Let me see. Trying to look it up. Let's see. Well, it's probably a bill collector. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm looking right now. I'm reading the things. I don't know, man. I don't see anything that's that telling. Why am I not finding this? Oh, it's a Twitter beef? Okay, let's look it up. Let's just Google it. Who cares? With the two people that are fucking... By the way, they've killed Sammy Guevara. That fucking Ty Conti fucking shit ruined his career. He was on a fucking trajectory for amazing, and his career's been either ruined... But then again, maybe AEW just ruined it. You know, maybe AEW ruined it. Let's hear what's going on here. Oh, it's Denise Salad Tosser. Yes, Denise Salad Tosser. Tell me about this, you annoying bitch. God damn it. I fucking unsubscribed from the Wrestling Observer, literally, because I couldn't fucking stand her fucking voice coming in every fucking 8 minutes. God, is she fucking annoying.
I'm Denise Salcedo, you're watching the latest, and we're gonna go ahead and kick off today's video with a recent war of words between Andrade El Idolo and Sammy Guevara.
God, I want her to just fucking go away. Please get hired by somebody so I never have to listen to you again. God fucking damn it, is she annoying. I don't know why I hate her.
Here's what went down. In what was either an elaborate work toward a future storyline or another real-life backstage issue that has come to light, AEW Sammy Guevara and Andrade El Idolo took to Twitter Tuesday to engage in a social media...
Hey, she's using my theme song. She's using my YouTube intro. You hear that?
War of words. The issue appears to have started with a Spanish language interview on Mas Lucha that Andrade did on Monday, where
she's using the same intro I would use. Wow. Man, I hate her even more now.
he mentioned that the only wrestler he has ever had a problem with is Sammy Guevara. The interviewer essentially asked Andrade how he felt about the backstage drama that had been reported.
I'm Denise Salcedo, and I use my titties and face to try to get on other people's YouTube channels to spread my legs on my channel so I can get bigger. And everybody will say yes because I'm a girl, so I can get on anybody's shit. And then I can just like plug my stuff to grow my thingy bingy. But if I was by myself doing YouTube on my own, nobody would really fucking care. I'm Denise Salcedo. I'm going to use Sean fucking Cyclops, who will fucking simp for me, and all these other people. And I'm going to grow a channel based on them. I'm going to...
Fucking, can you imagine if I was Denise Salcedo? I'd have 1 million subs by now. I'd have 1 million subs if I was a female right now, if I was Denise Salcedo. But nope, I'm here with 72,000 on my own. 72,000 on my own. Maybe you could add 20,000 from Automatic Mustang Man back when we used to do stuff. So you could make it 50,000. But all 99% of hers are from other people's channels because she's a woman. So, I don't want to hear this shit about, oh, women have it under... No, women have it better. They can just fucking... Oh, look, I'm a... God, she's fucking annoying. Sorry.
Over the past couple of weeks in AEW, particularly between the Elite and CM Punk. This then led Andrade to talk about what went down with him and Sammy. Andrade claimed that Sammy Guevara complained he hit him both too hard and too frequently in an unspecified match. Andrade said he told Guevara that it was just wrestling, and if he hit Guevara too hard, he should do the same to him. He said he talked to Guevara without any physical altercation and asked if there was a problem, to which Guevara said there wasn't. Andrade also told the interviewer that Sammy Guevara complained like a niña, a little girl.
And he complained to me like a little niña. Complained to me like a little niña having his quinceañera. That's what he was like. He was like a little nina, chopping like a nina, like a perro on a quinceañera. What the fuck, dude? I don't know, bro. Dude, this is so fucking lame. Listen, let me tell you something. If this is not a this is not a real life story, because you wouldn't. So, hey, let's start a beef about how in fake wrestling you hit me too hard. So, Denise Salcedo's a fucking moron. I don't know if this could be part of another shoot work that's going to happen. Yeah, okay. You think so? I mean, maybe with Eddie Kingston, like, oh, he called me fat, then he's really gonna call me fat. You know, so maybe I should understand what she's saying, but bro, so like, what would be the logic of that? Hey, let's start a fight. Let's start a fight with each other where the fight's gonna be that you're mad that I hit you too hard, and then we'll really wrestle in wrestling. And everyone will know that we have this real heat because you hit me too hard. I don't know. Is that really where we're at? Is that really where we're at? So you got, Eddie Kingston, who was upset that he called him fat. Now you have Andrade, now you have Sammy, who's upset that Andrade hit him too hard. Bro, what kind of fucking world are we living in with wrestling right now? Are you serious? Are you serious? So Eddie Kingston is upset that he was called fat, and Sammy Guevara is upset that Andrade hit him too hard? Dude, Sammy does like fucking 750s off the fucking ladders and fucking almost breaks his own neck. And he's mad that Andrade is hitting him too hard? Are you serious, Sammy? Sammy Guevara, are you seriously that upset? Why don't you go rape Sasha Banks? Okay, bro? Why don't you go rape Sasha Banks or Ty Conti? Or why don't you take Ty Conti and her fucking Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu fucking shitty English, and why don't you run her up a tree and throw her off it? How about that, you fucking idiot? Why don't you go fucking get engaged to another fucking lesbian-looking fatso and then ditch her for a fucking slut? Why don't you do that again? How about that? You fucking pussy. Why don't you break your neck and give yourself a concussion diving off a fucking cage and then complain about Andrade chopping you too hard? You stupid fuck, Sammy. You look like a chihuahua that got inverted by a black cock that was too long and your fucking eyeballs burst into your fucking skull. Okay, bro? Sammy Guevara, you look like a fucking chupica that fucking got eaten, swallowed, and shit out the wrong way, okay, motherfucker? That's what you look like, motherfucker. Where you're fucking, oh my god, he chopped me too hard. Why don't you go on fucking Skank Coley's fucking show again and rape somebody else, you weird fuck? Okay? God damn it. Andrade, let me tell you something, Andrade, you're never going to be anything because you can't fucking speak English, and Tony Khan has no fucking idea how to book your boring fucking ass. So how about this? How about Fatso Eddie Kingston, shut the fuck up? How about Sammy Guevara? Your stock is died, brother. Your stock went from 9 out of 10 possibility to a fucking 4 out of 10 all of a sudden. Sammy Guevara is about 2 seconds away from being Joey Janela when he should have been a top mid-card star in the company, but he isn't for some weird fucking reason. We don't know why. Andrade, they didn't do shit with him. Might as well go back to WWE. This is the same booking you had there. I come out and I say I'm El Idolo and la 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 la, and then I do some nice moves, but then that's about it. That's about it, bro. How about go to fucking school and learn English? Because these American bookers are never gonna book you right until you learn English, apparently. So that's what I've learned, is if you don't speak English, they don't know what the fuck to do with you. And that's why the people that shit on Asuka can fuck themselves. Because at least WWE and Vince McMahon knew how to try to book somebody who didn't speak English. We'll make her a fucking maniac fuck. That's what we'll do. I am Asuka! We'll make her a fucking maniac fuck. But could Andrade act like a fucking... You think Andrade could act like a Down syndrome autistic retard on TV like Asuka and get over? I don't think so. But Asuka did it.
I am Oscar. She figured it out. Could you ever figure that out, Andrade? Would you ever have figured that out, Andrade, to be like, London Andrade? Would you ever have acted that eccentric to get yourself over? No, you wouldn't have. You would have said, I'm el idolo, and then you would have been nowhere like you fucking were and like you are right now. Just like Mr. Big Fat fucking retard Keith Lee. I am Keith Lee, pardon me, but I am a great wrestler. Keith Lee, you don't know me? Keith Lee? Excuse me. Salutations. I'm Keith Lee. I don't understand why Vince McMahon wanted me to be a bearcat. I don't even know what a bearcat is, but I didn't like it. So I didn't really put any effort into it. A lot of Vince McMahon's ideas just really didn't make sense to me. And now I'm in AEW, and you see, I still talk like retarded William Shatner. And I can't seem to figure out why. The only reason I'm over is if I do a big move or my music. But as far as my promo ability, it's not really there. And I can't connect with the crowd. But you know who can connect with the crowd? Scissor me, Daddy! Ah! Because the Acclaim have arrived!
Running in the game and we in our own lane.
Yo,
everybody saying that they wanna be acclaimed.
Listen, yo. Keith Lee thought he was a big star, but he's not. The problem is he got a big cock and not a cop. Yeah, he can't get over on the mic, cause when he speaks he sounds like a retarded dyke. Yeah, Keith Lee thought he could be the best man, but he can't, man, he's a damage plan. Tony Khan, you were wrong. You signed all this talent cause you fucking thought you could be cool, but you can't. You can't be cool, you're a fool. The Acclaimed is over. I'm about to school every single one of your stars. Hit the bars, drive some fucking shitty cars. I'm a limousine, riding jet, flying fuck. Everyone else can sit the fuck down. Yeah, I got a big nut sack and you're whack. I'm gonna quit like Alistair Black. Yeah, he couldn't even handle this shit. He got fucking goddamn mental problems. He's a shit. Like, I mean, dude, like, what the fuck? Dude, the Acclaimed got over because the Acclaimed could fucking bring it. The Acclaimed could connect with people. You could feel the vibe of the Acclaimed. The Acclaimed never arrived. Cesar me! Ah! It's too bad that they don't understand this. Yeah. I don't know. God damn, Ty Conti's a moron. It's got to be the woman. She's got to be Yoko. I'm sorry. You know, people should not blame, like, in dead seriousness, people should not shit on Ty Conti. That is just wrong. I mean, like, people that, like, go on Twitter and attack her, it's so fucking stupid. Like, you know, shit on her like this if you want. Like, I'm ranting and stuff like that, that's fine. But, you know, people that actually target her and write, like, mean stuff to her, that's fucked up, dude. I mean, that's, they really are in love. That's fine. Everything is great. But you can see why people associate her with the failure. Because the minute she came on board was almost like around when things went bad. And I think that it's just all bad. It's sort of like she came on, they took a break. He got injured. If everybody remembers, he got injured. And then things just have not been, he has not been booked right since. So all you can see is like like he came together with Ty Conti and they took a break and then they got married and they're kind of annoying. So now he's become a heel again. And on top of that, it's like he has booked terrible now. So she is attributed with his failure. Like it or not, that's what's going on. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Let me respond to him. Let me see. Let's hear a little bit more from Jericho. Let's go back to this Jericho thing. Let's recap here again on the Jericho comment, and then you guys can vote in the chat right now.
Just trying to pick the right words here. The company wasn't built around me, but at the risk of sounding egotistical, if there was no Chris Jericho, I don't know if the company would have gotten off the ground as quickly as I did.
Yeah, that's the way to put it. Yeah,
it did. And because I say that because I think at the time I was the only national kind of superstar name that was involved. I mean, besides Jim Ross, but Jim Ross isn't on-air talent; he's a commentator. But keep in mind, no one really knew Cody at that point. He'd been gone for years, and the last time we seen him, he was Stardust. I'm going to pull back so I can see you guys' faces. He was Stardust when he left, and as much buzz as Kenny and Matt and Nick Jackson had, they were still mostly just kind of regional guys. You know, they were worldwide stars, but when it comes to national TV in the States, they didn't have any experience for that.
Nope.
So there really wasn't anybody else, and I think if Chris Jericho wasn't involved, it would have been a lot harder of a sell to TBS or TNT or those types of people that were involved, because you needed that big TV to get off the ground. You needed money, which we had, passion, which we had, television, which is very hard to get, and a roster of stars that no one had really seen before, that were ready to go to the next level.
Right.
But you needed a guy that kind of could open the door. And,
Right.
and one last point is I did that with New Japan.
Right.
When I worked with Kenny at the Tokyo Dome in 2018, there was a lot of people who went to check out New Japan for the first time because of Chris Jericho.
That's right.
And then once they check it out, they see all these other amazing talents and go, "Wow, we like this company." Yeah. And that was my goal for AEW: was if I'm the bridge to get here, check me out and then look at all these other guys that we have. And so it was a really big deal to get that television slot on TNT and to debut. I mean, people don't realize how hard that was to get there.
Sure.
You know, because we had spoke about, you know, maybe doing something on Netflix or maybe doing something on a like a Showtime pay-per-view channel, and you can't do that. Like, it wouldn't have worked. We were just. I'm sure Tony knows all the details more than I do, but from what I recall, it was like to get on national television on such a huge network was very, very hard to do, and there was a very slim chance to do it, and we did it.
Yeah.
So.
Tony mentions that he was at Wrestle Kingdom in 2018, was there when you and Kenny Omega battled, and that's where he came up. He always wanted to do a wrestling company, but it was that night that he decided, I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
So it was born based on your match with Kenny Omega.
I think it was the fact that there was so much of a buzz, but the cold, hard fact of the business that it did. Because New Japan World, which was New Japan's streaming service, I believe subscriptions went up like 300%, if not more.
Congrats.
When that match was announced, I know in the arena, in the dome, it sold an extra 15,000 tickets. Which out of 50,000 tickets, think about that. I mean, that's 30% of the tickets sold just from that match, which. So I think a combination of the tickets and the business of the streaming is where Tony really thought, like, I can do this. And also, same with Kevin Riley, who was our initial contact at TNT TBS, who said there is some business that can be done here.
Sure.
So all of those things, listen, would the company have happened if I wasn't there? Probably, but I just don't think it would have grown as quickly as it did, or maybe gotten off to such a huge start. Because one last thing I'll say, and this is really getting into business weeds and people might not even care, but for the ones that do, is we started Dynamite as an ad rev share business. And what does that mean? That means that they sell advertisements and we get a piece of it. That's it.
Right.
If they sell $12 in advertising, here's your, 50% or 10%. If they sell $2 million, if they sell $20 million, it's not a lot of money.
Yeah.
But 3 months in, because of the demos that we were getting, and
See, I agree with all this. I agree with everything Jericho is sputtering off here. I totally get it. I just don't agree with that little line that Cody was nobody. I agree with everything Jericho says there. I just don't agree that nobody knew who Cody Rhodes was. God damn the Sammy Guevara. This whole company. Oh, I'm Sammy Guevara. Don't hit me. Andrade. I mean, dude. Dude, here's the thing. I would love these guys fighting with each other all over the place if it actually led to something. But we know what will happen is everybody just gets suspended and they don't even use it. Why isn't Adam Hangman Page coming out into the ring and cutting promos on everything and everybody? Why not? Why? Because of legal reasons? Maybe. Maybe it's legal reasons.
You raised a piece of shit.
Vince is a slut but also a genius.
Uh-huh.
Maybe he had planned that Khan would sign most of the releases causing a mess and they'd either leave, return, or even WWE would get some disgruntled you guys. Sorry Joe, thought you got COVID again. Well, good luck with the AIDS.
Well, it could be AIDS. No, it's I don't know, it's some kind of flu, man. I got the flu. I tested myself twice for COVID and it's nothing. The whole family got it too.
You all have decided to take your hard-earned money and to fund my show, to fund what I do, to fund what I believe in, to fund my godly ass. JCS Army, donate to me.
All the way from the UK, Jack dropping 30 pounds. $33.87 translating to
acknowledge me.
Acknowledge him.
Jack. Jack.
Hit that like button too on the way. We'll get to 100 likes today, maybe.
Hello Joe, my friend, how's it going? Only just seen your live, hope your day's going okay and life is good for you. Have some on my King's English pounds.
Thank you, sir. All the way from the UK, it's Jack. Life is going, not the greatest, but but thank you. That helped a little bit. Our goal of 500, we may not reach that during this stream, obviously, but we might reach this by tonight, trying to reach that goal by AEW Dynamite tonight, live after AEW Dynamite tonight, assuming I make it home tonight. Who knows? I may not make it home. If that's the case, we'll be in trouble, but I will try tonight. Jack, thank you for dropping the euros. The Ghost on the Coast is still the top JCS digital champion with the largest single drop of the stream, the Ghost on the Coast, and thank you to Jack. Thank you, Jack. Much appreciated, man. DJ Scandal says they wouldn't survive Vader and Bam Bam and Ming. Yeah, they don't. These guys don't have any idea what they're talking. If Sammy Guevara is really complaining, and I don't know if it's true or not. Maybe there's somebody lying. I don't know. Everybody's mentioned it to me though. But if he were to be true, he really means this. I mean, what the fuck are you talking about? You know? Tony Khan fires back. There's more people yelling about stuff. Man, everybody's just grumpy, I guess, huh? Tony Khan fires back. Tony Khan fires back at the bad faith fans criticizing how AEW build shows. Man, everybody's, even they're mad at their own fans now. That's great. Tony Khan says, I see some of the stuff people say and always want to take anything in good faith from the fans, but I do see a lot of people adjacent to WWE in bad faith talking about the level of build. He's not wrong that some people just hate AEW. They don't even really watch it. That's true. But I think some of the, this is a trope wrestling that needs to continue to be a thing. Khan says you can call it a cold match if you want, but sometimes things start out of new issues. Not everything is going to have weeks or months of build going into it. I'm going to make a full court press to get it, and I'm going to let people know right now there's been a lot of build to a lot of this stuff, and if people have been telling me there hasn't, they're completely full of shit or they're not paying attention. I think he's kind of right. I mean, I think I have booking problems with many things, but, some of the stuff, yeah, but you have to have a mix. I always think you have to have a mix, and I think Tony Khan knows that, and he wants to do that. I think Tony usually, they're trying to build some stories, but then on some things they just have random matches. Because you don't want everything to be a story, and you don't want everything to be a random match. You know, you really got to have, I think you have to have 75, well, you know, sort of, I don't know. I don't know what you have to have, but, you know, you have to have mostly story, I think, but you do have to have about 25% of your matches be kind of random and be just matchups that happen. Through those, you can decide if you want stories to formulate or not. So I don't know what exactly, I don't know enough about this particular incident or questioning here or rant from Tony that I could really comment on. Right now they're saying that it doesn't appear to be a question of will we ever see the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, or CM Punk again. While promoting AEW's Anniversary Week in an interview with Variety, CEO Tony Khan was asked about the post-All-Out incident and the status of Punk, Omega, and the Bucks in AEW. Khan refused to comment on the situation, stating that the investigation into the incident was still ongoing. And then moved on to talk about MJF. No indication has been given when the investigation involving the incident, which began after All Out, will conclude. AEW talents Brandon Cutler, Michael Nakazawa, and AEW producers Christopher Daniels, Pat Buck have since been cleared of any wrongdoing via the investigation. So that's an update. They said there's no update. I mean, that's an update. Producers Christopher Daniels, Pat Buck, Michael Nakazawa, and Brandon Cutler have been cleared of any wrongdoing via the investigation. As of this writing, full details on what occurred between Punk, Steel, Bucks, Omega are unclear beyond physical altercation that was confirmed. In the meantime, AEW will continue with our biggest stars, the AEW Dynamite taking place in Washington, D.C., AEW Rampage, blah, 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 Eric Mutter, WrestlingInc.com, via Tony Khan, in an interview, and I don't know which interview it was. So there you go. Very, 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 very kind of interesting. You know? I'm going to have a sip of this orange juice right now. Why put him in a must-lose match? Who are we talking about? What's the must-lose match? Say it again. I missed it. Michael Nakazawa. Say his name too many times fast. You may be canceled. And FTR, man. How about FTR? What's up with FTR? Anybody feel like FTR is close to flipping out eventually too? They're pushed. They're pulled back. 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 What is FTR? I get that the Acclaimed is the number one team that's over right now, but before them it was FTR. And I myself, I would be booking FTR and the Acclaimed. I would have FTR. I would have the Acclaimed. Not against each other yet at all. Of course, not against each other for sure. Not against each other. Separate. Let FTR keep going on their run. Let the Acclaim keep doing their thing. I would be pushing Wardlow in some kind of crazy storylines to make Wardlow awesome. But Wardlow is dead. FTR is dying and dead. Darby Allin is pretty much gone. He just is used when they need someone to act crazy in the ring, I guess. Why do they self-inflictedly destroy their talent? I don't understand this. If you're going to introduce new people or have a guy like Bandito show up, go ahead and have a guy like Bandito show up. But then don't have all the other goofy matches. Have staples. Make a big storyline with Wardlow. Let FTR have a wrestling clinic with somebody. Let the Acclaimed defend their belts or just do a segment where they're in the ring with the belts. celebrating the belts. Why do we need to, like, okay, these people did their thing. Okay, now go away now for a little while. We'll bring you back later. Well, everyone will certainly remember where you were. Like, you can certainly take 3 weeks off of TV and come back and know everybody will just love you again. You won't lose any momentum. Oh, Wardlow? Yeah, you won't lose any momentum, Wardlow, if we kind of change, take you off TV a little bit, and then we put you with a sidekick and that sort of thing. Yeah, you won't lose any momentum, Wardlow. So you won't actually grab the microphone on a Dynamite and then say, everyone's been saying what happened to Wardlow. I'm still here. Oh, yeah? Then why'd you say that in the microphone? And where are you now? So guess what? We're all right, and you literally said it on the show. You fucking idiots. So you guys literally bury Wardlow, and I'm gonna call it burying because the guy was on a fucking roll at one point. So you basically take your own guy that was getting over, and you put him back in the closet. You know, people are walking by. Can you imagine in Little Shop of Horrors? You know when they put the Audrey 2 out there in the windowsill, and people walk by and they're like, wow, that plant, I've got to check it out. And they come into the fucking Little Shop of Horrors and they buy a million things and the fucking everything takes off. Imagine if they were like, you know what? This is great. Anyway, we're going to put you back in the basement for a little bit, Audrey 2, and then take 3 days off. And then sales drop again. Right? And then a couple days later, you bring back the Audrey 2. But the Audrey 2 is like dying because you left it in the basement. So you put it out there, but it's like dying and it doesn't look good anymore. And then some people are coming in still, and then you're like, whoa, I don't know what happened. And then you put it back in the basement again. And then you bring it back out and you put it at the forefront. Why? What the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? What is AEW doing? Have you ever seen a company that's like, hey, look, we just made somebody. Hey, let's just put them away for a little bit. Let's tone that down a little bit. What? Why are you doing this? Hey, MJF is a fucking star, and he flipped out on air, and he flipped out and got, we cut him off TV, and everybody talked about MJF. Oh, well, now anybody cares about is the backstage press conference. Well, we'll have MJF go out there and just kind of go back to the mid-card heel promo thing that he was doing. We're not going to fucking, it's like, dude, elevate people even more. MJF is pretty okay. MJF is fine. Because MJF is still doing his thing, but he's lowered a little bit, but it's fine. He's somewhat still okay, but it's like, Wardlow, what are you doing? It's like, where's Miro? What happened to Miro? Is Miro just not good? Is Miro not good? Maybe Miro's not what we thought it was. Okay, it wasn't good. Is Miro gone? Why is Lance Archer even around? If Miro's not doing anything and Wardlow has been pushed to the side, why is Lance Archer even in the company? Why is Lance Archer in your company? Miro's not on TV. Why? No wonder Aleister Black has mental problems. The guy thinks he's going to be a star, then he's not a star. Then he thinks he's going to be a star, then he's not a star. Then he gets over, then he's not a star. Then they put him away. It's like, or that's Wardlow. But either way, whatever. Aleister Black. Yeah, you'd have a mental problem too if you went out there with the idea that you came up with that you thought would have been so great in WWE, and that's the reason why you didn't work out in WWE. And then you do it in AEW, and you're treated like shit, and it doesn't work. And you're like, oh, House of Black didn't work. And you suddenly realize you're just a normal person. None of these people. Like, dude, I don't even know what to tell you, bro. At one point, Wardlow in AEW, Wardlow's rating in AEW, I would have given Wardlow a 7.5. Wardlow was like a 7.5 on the rise. Now Wardlow is a stale 5. He's a stale 5. Maybe a downward 5.5. That's what Wardlow is right now. And there was a time when he was a 5 or a 4.5, probably a 5. I give him a 5. There was a time when Wardlow was a 5 or 5.5 when he was doing nothing. And then he got in with MJF, and then that started to take off a little bit, and he was good for that. And he got better a little bit, and then he started taking off to a 6, to a 7, arguably to an 8 in the company of AEW. Maybe not an 8 as far as like WWE, like The Rock or something, but an 8 or 7.5 in AEW standards. One of the top 3 guys to see in the show. They came from nothing and had something going on. Now he's dead. Now he's dead. I don't know. They can't figure out who to push because they push everybody a little bit. Tony Khan's like, push you a little bit, push you a little bit, push you a little bit, push you a little bit. Oh, I'll pull you. I'm gonna go hide you in the closet. Push you a little bit. Push you out, hide in the closet. What are they doing? What are they doing?
You raised a piece of shit.
Was Takandi able to open that cage door? What a tard.
No.
I'd still eat her Brazilian omelet. Paige's singer boyfriend loser having Twitter beef with Sebastian Bach. Skid Row would kill that team of fuck. This bullshit today proves my point. Watch 1980s.
Bro, isn't Paige's boyfriend, he's alleged murderer or something like that? He's like an alleged murderer or something. Paige is into satanic activities, and I'm not saying that because she looks goth, because God knows I used to date women that were goth, and God knows I used to wear fishnets. But it does seem that the Paige is a satanic Hollywood type of baby eater, based on her postings and her life, and based on what that guy's lyrics are about in his songs and what the guy has done in his private life. I would think, it seems to me now that Paige and her boyfriend are a couple of Satanists, weirdos who would eat babies. And I'm not kidding. It's not a joke. Listen, I'm a fan of Marilyn Manson. And I think Marilyn Manson's a drug addict. And I think Marilyn Manson has some issues. But I love Marilyn Manson. And, Manson, he might have done inappropriate things with women, potentially. Like, he could be a little bit of a rapey type of person, sexual misconduct. But I don't think for the most part, Manson is kind of good, I think. Besides, that's not good. It's not making a good person. But I don't think he would eat babies, right? He looks like he would, but he wouldn't eat babies. But I think Paige and her boy toy there, I think they actually eat babies, maybe. I'm not even kidding. They might eat babies, bro. And I wouldn't even say that about Manson, who might unwillingly touch women while they're sleeping. I wouldn't even say that Manson would eat babies. So, you make up your mind about those people. But, kind of weird. Let's see what else we have here. By the way, if you guys are at lunch, I hope you hit the like button, stick the thumb up my ass, or donate now. We only got a few minutes left. Only got a couple minutes left. The donation link is in the chat above or super chat down below. Whatever you want to do, you know how to do it. We only got a few seconds left, a few minutes left, whatever you want to call it, that will be here. We covered all that news. It's interesting stuff. Jericho, his comments, I just don't 100% agree.
If there was no Chris Jericho, I don't know if the company would have gotten off the ground as quickly as they did.
That's a way to put it, yeah.
It did. And because
I agree with that part.
I say that because I think at the time I was the only national kind of superstar name that was involved. Besides Jim Ross, but Jim Ross isn't on-air talent. He's a commentator. But keep in mind, no one really knew Cody at that point. He'd been gone for years, and the last time we seen him, he was Stardust. I'm going to pull back so I can see again.
He brought Cody up for no real reason, by the way. Like, why did he bring up Cody? But pretty much agree with Jericho, except for, like I said, that I don't think no one knew who Cody was. I just don't agree. And a lot of people say, why do you repeat the same thing every 15 minutes? Well, because new people come into the chat, and average listener listens for about 15 minutes. So, I like to drive it home for the new people popping in. That's how radio works, bruh. But there are some people that have been watching the whole stream. About 50, 60 people watch the whole stream completely. So I am sorry for those people. Gross. Saraya is trash. Hot Topic. Damn. That's it. Triple H wants Athena back. Well, probably. Especially with those wings that Athena's been coming out with. Triple H wants that wing entrance. You know what I mean? You don't think Triple H wants that big wing? I mean, all he's got is, what's his name's wife? You know? Athena with the beautiful wing, electronic wings entrance. Amazing. And he's sitting there with Johnny Gargano's wife, who has little pixie feathers falling off. They look like they were bought at a Halloween store. You know? What's her name? Sarah LeRae, whatever. LeRae, somebody. Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae comes out with fucking pixie wings that look like they were put together by an 8-year-old at Michael's. You know, that was shopped at Michael's, or that went to the Halloween store and bought these little feathered wing things. They're falling apart on the way to the ring. Meanwhile, Athena's coming out there with a $10,000 fucking electronic light show of fucking metal wings that open up. So, Candice LeRae got to step up the game, bro. Step up the game. On the wing game. You got a better wing game than that. Now that Athena's rocking those things, fucking copy her. By the way, she didn't just get those wings from thin air. There's a big company that makes those. A bunch of people that wear those. Fuck it. Take it. You were wearing the pixie wings before she was wearing any wings. So if anybody's going to have big wings, it's going to be you. So go out there and get those big fucking mechanical wings and fucking fly down to the ring with a laser light show and blow Athena's entrance away. Okay? Because right now, wings! Athena's beating you with that. She got the better wings entrance. You might as well not come out there with your fucking pixie wings that are little cheap things that are falling off. So figure that out. Because you got problems. Issues. Shout out to the top donation of the stream. It comes from the Ghost from the Coast, who dropped $49.99. And I think we're on our way out of here, man. It's time for me to go to my other gig and get on out of here, I believe. It's been a good time. Like I said, the Acclaimed got more over than anybody because they got soul, spirit, and they connect with the crowd. As, you know, and they're edgy, as opposed to Keith Lee, who just comes out and goes, "Salutations, my name's Keith Lee, blah, 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 blue. I'm Keith Lee, hobbity, hibbity, hobbity, ho." But the Acclaim, man, they can do it. Yeah. Listen. 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 Yeah. Why does Sammy now seem to suck? Is it because he married a stupid slut? Tony Khan, you just wasted your cash. You paid CM Punk, but he's fucking made of glass. This AEW women's division is getting paid. Problem is, they all infected with AIDS. This company is falling apart every hour. Hit the pavement like the Twin Towers. YouTube! The Acclaimed have arrived! Sesame Daddy!
A fan of Joe Cronin, but definitely not a fan.
He thinks he's Howard Stern, and he's got a cool way of talking in the microphone, and he's a very shock jock or whatever.
You raised a piece of shit.
To explain, he looks like
Sammy
one of
Guevara
those.
should get a push off the fast-moving train. Aubrey is worse referee than Mike Tyson at WrestleMania 14. Think Giselle is banging Mac Jones? Andrade is harder to understand than Mikkel with a mouthful of marbles. Velma from Scooby-Doo is
Joe, if you're listening, you stupid fuck. He looks like one of those guys that from Long Island that wants to be a white rapper, but he's 30-something years old, lives in his parents' basement with the droopy cap and the whatever, but he thinks he's Howard Stern, and he's got a cool way of talking in the microphone, and he's a shock jock or whatever, and somehow or another he accumulates followers on Twitter. It's fucking pathetic. So please, nobody listen to anything involving a guy named Joe Cronin, because it's just so fucking sad.
You fucking mark!
Oh.